Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Rishi Harinanan. C News is live at noon. Topping the news at this time, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce is supporting the decision to appoint Christian Mouttet to investigate the circumstances surrounding the procurement of the Cabo Star and the Ocean Flower II and the entering into the charter party agreement for these vessels. The body's CEO, Gabriel Faria, says it's a different move and one he hopes will yield a different result. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley appointed Christian Mouttet as the sole investigator into the procurement of the two vessels. It is expected that the report will be delivered within 30 days. The Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Gabriel Faria, says appointing a sole investigator is a positive move.
We recognize it's probably a little different way to solve the problem. One of the things we've learned in business is that when you have tried to do something a certain way, it hasn't worked. What we need to do is try something else. So because of that, we believe it's a positive step. You know, we've been reading the newspaper where people are talking about commissions, and you may remember some of these commissions and the hundreds of millions of dollars they cost the country. So really this is a more efficient way to at least get a perspective on what could have gone wrong with this situation.
Many people have questioned if the Prime Minister appointing Mr. Mouttet was the right way to go, since the government would have also played a part in obtaining the vessels. Some saying it's a case of himself investigating himself. Mr. Faria said this may not be the case. He explained how the audit process works in the private sector.
The audit process sits autonomously from reporting to the line minister. So I'm making the assumption that what the Prime Minister is trying to do is find an efficient way to get a perspective on if this requires more analysis, because any attempt to deal with this any other way would be quite a drawn-out process.
Mr. Faria is not in agreement with those who called for the matter to be investigated by the police.
Why not use history to tell you if the police is able to solve crime? We have heard on numerous occasions that criminals actually, I don't know, what's our success rate on that? My perspective, and I think the Chamber's perspective, is that while this is a different way to deal with the issue, we believe at least we are doing something different. The sign of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
C News contacted the Minister of Works for comment on this matter. However, he said he will not comment until the investigation is completed. Well, the Port Authority says it has received information which suggests that the Management Evaluation Committee stage of the procurement process may have been compromised in relation to the time charter of vessels to service the inter-island sea bridge. In a statement issued last night, PAT said an investigation into the procurement process has been launched. It said the board of the Port Authority has put measures in place in order to ensure that the investigation is properly executed. The Port Authority noted steps have been taken to facilitate the investigation consistent with proper industrial relations practices. There's some other news now. A Trinidad and Tobago national is to be extradited to the United States after being charged with several counts of fraud. In a statement from the Ministry of the Attorney General and Legal Affairs, the Acting Attorney General, Stuart Young, said on Tuesday a warrant of committal was presented before the Acting Chief Magistrate at the Port of Spain Magistrates Court by the Central Authority Unit for the extradition of Devanan Sukhdev. The Central Authority Unit has received a request from the U.S. for his extradition on July 28, 2017, which triggered the extradition process. Sukhdev is alleged to have committed one count of conspiracy to defraud the United States and to commit theft of government funds, one count of false claims to the U.S., and one count of interstate and foreign transportation of money taken by fraud. He is alleged to have committed these offenses between 2006 and 2010 in the United States and Canada before fleeing to Trinidad. Mr. Sukhdev was arrested by Interpol on July 28, 2017 in Debe, South Trinidad. On Tuesday, the acting chief magistrate took evidence from Sukhdev, read the warrant of committal to him, and committed him to the state prison pending his removal to the United States of America and to face the charges against him. Staying with crime now, and police say they found cocaine and heroin inside a deodorant can and marijuana concealed inside a juice container during anti-crime exercises in the Bessel Street district. In a statement, the TTPS said a revolver and 102 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition were also discovered during the exercises carried out by officers of the Interagency Task Force Strike Team at Dan Kelly Laventille and Nelson Street, Port of Spain. The exercises were conducted between 9 p.m. on Tuesday and 2 p.m. on Wednesday. At around 10:15 p.m., officers proceeded to Dan Kelly, where they observed a group of men liming. Upon seeing the officers, the men ran off. A search of the area resulted in the discovery of a black plastic bag containing the revolver and the ammunition. Officers then proceeded to Nelson Street at around 11 p.m., where they conducted a search on the rooftop of building 55 to 57, where a plastic bag was found hidden under some clothes. Inside the bag, officers found a large tank container with 13 packets of marijuana weighing 320 grams. The bag also contained an Axe deodorant can, which contained 12 packets of cocaine weighing 19.42 grams and 2 packets of heroin weighing 1.77 grams. No arrests were made in connection with the finds. This is the C News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Twitter and Facebook pages at C News Live. The Contractors Association has sent a letter to the Management and Business Development Company, EMBDC, saying how much sand it needs to carry out work for the next 6 months. This was done at the request of the company following reports of a shortage of red sand. This morning, President of the Contractors Association, Ram Logan Rupnarain told us the letter was sent on Tuesday. He said members of the association will need about 700,000 cubic yards of sand for the next 6 months.
Because they ask for the information, they will take the information and assess it, and hopefully the quarries will open back and they will know exactly what it is that the demand for the sand for our members would be around this amount. And we're hoping that the quarry, the sand pit, would be opening back as soon as possible, because we're basically looking on a per week basis of 29,167 cubic yards.
Mr. Rupnarain Singh said some of this material is to carry out work for state projects, including the construction of the San Fernando to Point Fortin highway.
What's being carried out is the road works down at San Fernando to Point Fortin, and the other projects, as the minister says, that will be coming on stream. This information we got from our members who are doing work right now.
Well, yesterday we highlighted a major landslip along the North Coast Road in the vicinity of the Maracas Bay Lookout, which resulted in the road being blocked as drivers were unable to enter or leave. Today, our team of cameraman Shaka Telesford and reporter Janine Brown journeyed to the location for an update on the situation. They bring back this report.
This was the condition of the North Coast Road on Tuesday morning, some 200 meters from Maracas Bay Lookout, vehicles being unable to pass either way due to the landslide. Roughly 24 hours later, well, things are almost back to normal. Cars were occasionally spotted passing both ways along the roadway with little to no debris. But citizens are being warned against taking this as a green light to continue making their beach plans. Local government representative for the area, Lyndon Lara, is advising people not to go to Maracas unless it's necessary.
People are traversing to and from on the North Coast. Traffic obviously will be slowed down because of that one-lane issue, but the beach is accessible. I mean, if you don't have to go to the North Coast, you ought not to venture there. But once, you live there and you have business there and you have to do what you have to do there, it is possible.
The road was blocked at around midnight on Monday. Janine Brown, C News.
Well, now for the weather. Predominantly sunny and hazy over most areas with a few showers during the early to mid-afternoon period. Expect a few heavier showers favoring western and hilly areas of Trinidad with a 60% chance of the thunder shower. Tonight will be mostly settled. Gusty wind, street and flash flooding may occur in heavy showers and thunder showers. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services granted 20 citizens the opportunity to start their own business through their Sewing Empowerment through Entrepreneurial Development Program. The SEED program aims at transforming the lives of beneficiaries through the provision of equipment, specialized training to initiate or expand a micro-enterprise. At a distribution of seed grants valued at up to $15,000, Line Minister Sherry-Ann Critchlow-Coburn urged the beneficiaries to use the grant wisely to become fruitful entrepreneurs.
Apparatus to address poverty at all levels in our society. And so today you, the beneficiaries, will be given the necessary materials and tools to embark on the journey which has the potential to lead to a very successful entrepreneurship experience.
Well, the Ministry of Trade and Industry says it continues to examine new and innovative opportunities to boost exports and increase access to markets in agro-processing. On Tuesday, Minister Paula Gopiskun and technical team met with the Fine Cocoa Company Director Ashley Parasaram and representatives of the British High Commission to discuss opportunities for collaboration. Minister Gopiskun reiterated the government's inclination to support business ventures into high-end lucrative markets. These initiatives, she emphasized, not only strengthen our economy, but also solidify Trinidad and Tobago's brand internationally. The U.S. Embassy and San Fernando Mayor Junior Agrello are continuing to have talks on the embassy's mission in Trinidad and Tobago with regards to good governance, security, and outreach. Last Monday, officials of the U.S. Embassy met with the mayor, and they also discussed future partnerships through bilateral education, empowerment, and security programs, particularly targeting those in vulnerable and impoverished communities. Addressing juvenile delinquency and empowering young people to build up their communities was a general theme of the visit. There's some other news now. The youth arm of the United National Congress is warning government against moving forward with proposed changes to the GATE program. It says it will open floodgates of litigation as the new policy is discriminatory. The youth arm said persons who are 50 years and over will now be unable to access GATE funding, which amounts to discrimination based on age. The youth arm also expressed its discontent with the means test to ascertain people's financial standing in order to benefit from the program. It said the criteria to be applied for the means test is hidden under a cloak of secrecy and further erodes the trust of the population. The case to nullify Nicole Dyer-Griffith's candidacy for the post of political leader of the Congress of the People will be heard at the Port of Spain High Court today. The case was filed by Kurt Francis. Mrs. Dyer-Griffith didn't say much about the matter when CNews spoke with her this morning, but noted it's for the court to make a decision.
I understand that the matter has now changed yet again from trying to postpone the election to nullifying my membership and the membership of 35 other persons. It's the first time I've ever heard in the history of politics anyone trying to find ways to remove members from an organization. You know, it really makes little sense to me. That being said, the matter is before the courts, and so I don't want to prejudice the outcome of that.
Well, the election is scheduled for Sunday. 5 Trinidad and Tobago nationals will be pursuing studies in Cuba starting in September under the Cuban Scholarship program. The program, which started in 2001, allows students to enhance the human resource capacity within the health sector, as well as strengthen bilateral relations between Trinidad and Tobago and Cuba. This year, the undergraduate students will be specializing in the field of human medicine as well as health technology. Addressing a signing ceremony, Minister of Education Anthony Garcia urged the students to put forward their best and positively represent Trinidad and Tobago.
To really be the flag bearers of this country, and in everything that you do will reflect to a large measure the training that you have received while you were students in your secondary schools, but more than that, everything that you do would reflect what Trinidad and Tobago means. Your responsibility is to carry that flag of Trinidad and Tobago and have it flown high and with pride.
The manager of the Scholarships and Advanced Training Division at the ministry explained the funding for the scholarship.
People of Cuba, they pay tuition, they pay accommodation. We are only expected to pay for their flight to go and to return, and the $200 US per month stipend to help them with their incidentals. Yeah. Everything else paid for by the government and people of the Republic of Cuba.
The 49th edition of the Trinidad and Tobago Great Prix takes place this Saturday, and we are taking a look at some of the competitors in this year's event, beginning with the boat Ironman. Ken Fuentes spoke to team manager Guy Costa.
Ironman, in its previous incarnation of Fire One, is a two-time winner of the race, and the throttleman Guy Costa says they are near ready to go. Like any previous winner, they would like the taste of victory once again.
Well, you know, I'm always confident. I mean, that's why we're in the race. We want to win the race. So we're going out there to try to win the race. Hopefully we get there first.
The Great Race is approaching its 50th birthday, with the race finish returning to its former home in Store Bay, something he openly welcomes.
The racers in general kind of welcome the finish again back in Store Bay. Finishing in Scarborough has been quite a challenge for the racers, but enjoyable nevertheless. This year we're also going to be making a side track before we get to Store Bay in front of Grafton Beach and Mount Irving. So it will be interesting, some navigation at the end of the race which could cause some confusion.
This year's race is dedicated to the memory of Garth Marshall, and Custer says his presence will be missed.
You know, Garth is like a stalwart of the Trinidad and Tobago Powerboat Association. I mean, talking about powerboat racing in Trinidad and not being able to talk about Garth Marshall is strange. You know, he's part and parcel of everything. So
the Ironman crew will compete in the 130 mile per hour class for the big guns like Mr. Solo 2 and the new boys Big Thunder. Kent Fuentes, C Sports.
Well, that's it for sport. Well, that's how we end the C News Report at noon. I'm Rishi Harinanan. Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, visit our website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.